Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has now boarded the flight back to Russia from Germany, where he was recovering after being poisoned last August. An attack for which he blamed Russian President Vladimir Putin. As the Kremlin critic makes his way back to Moscow, Russian authorities have threatened to arrest Navalny and put him in prison for years. In the latest coming in, Russian police have detained 4 top allies of Alexei Navalny at a Moscow airport. A senior associate said that the 4 supporters were supposed to meet Navalny on his return from Germany. Navalny is one of the most outspoken and fierce critics of the Russian president. He said he missed Moscow and was not interested in what he called new fabricated criminal cases. Russian authorities have accused Navalny of flouting the terms of a suspended prison sentence for embezzlement. Navalny is returning to Russia for the first time since he was poisoned in August last year. His decision signals towards his intentions to continue the political struggle against Vladimir Putin. And this has led to a dilemma for the Russian authorities on how to deal with one of the president's most prominent critics. According to the prison agency, Navalny had to report to them in line with terms of a suspended sentence that he had received for a 2014 conviction on charges of money laundering. Navalny has rejected the conviction, calling it politically motivated. Meanwhile, Germany has given transcripts of interviews with Alexei Navalny to Russia, demanding a thorough investigation into the crime. Germany's Justice Ministry, in fact, has said that Russia has all the information needed now to carry out a criminal investigation into Navalny's poisoning, including blood and tissue samples. While Navalny has accused Putin of ordering his poisoning, Putin has denied that the Russian authorities tried to poison him. Navalny supporters have also urged him to stay abroad for his own safety. Political analyst Dmitry Babich is now joining us from Moscow. Hi, Dmitry. Navalny's return is being viewed as a direct challenge to Vladimir Putin. Tell us more about what can be expected after Navalny's return. What is the likelihood of him being jailed once he lands in Moscow?
Well, I would not call it a challenge. I would call it a provocation. Because if Russia had been such an unfree country, there would not be hundreds of people waiting for Navalny at the airport. These people in a real dictatorship would have been arrested long ago on their way to the airport. So, of course, Russia is not a dictatorship that Navalny has been depicting in the West. As for the story of his poisoning, it is very shadowy because he was basically saved by the Russian doctors, you know. The plane where he felt sick made an emergency landing in Tomsk, which is a Russian city in Siberia. He was put there in artificial coma, and then his family asked him to be transported to Germany, and President Putin agreed to have him transported to Germany. In Germany, they immediately, of course, found out that he was poisoned by some chemical substance that only Putin had access to. We heard it from the journalists, but the German authorities never released the exact chemical formula and the exact reasons why they think that this poison was made in Russia and was somehow connected to Putin. However, I think that the people who basically encouraged Navalny to come to Russia now, they want to play a big game because they want to put Russia in a very uncomfortable position. If Navalny just goes free from the airport, a lot of people would say that this is selective justice because Navalny has several suspended sentences. If an average person in Russia behaved like Navalny, going abroad while having a suspended sentence, you know, making political campaigns, that person would have been in jail long ago for failing to show up for a routine check, you know. But Mr. Navalny has never been put in jail. He spent just one night in jail in 2013, and since then he always avoided real problems, real punishment for what the Russian authorities described as his crimes. And if Navalny is arrested, of course, the West would interpret it as one more sign of Russia being a dictatorial country, there would be probably new sanctions, at least there would be pretext for new sanctions. So the people who pushed Navalny out of Germany, who basically obviously encouraged him to come to Russia now, I think they wanted to put Mr. Putin in a difficult position and to deflect attention from the embarrassment that the Western world is going through now with the situation in the United States and the situation with Donald Trump. But I think Russia will come out of this situation. My bet is that Navalny will not be arrested tonight. I am not sure anything may happen because legally he should be arrested. He is late for his suspended sentence. He should have been interviewed by Russian officials in Germany. He should have appeared before Russian investigators. He didn't do it. So according to law, he should be jailed. But everyone understands that there would be political repercussions. I think that the way out is for the Russian authorities to put a complaint in court, something that they have done already. So while the court will be deciding, Navalny may be free, he may stay at home, and then the court will take its decision, and the authorities will proceed according to the court decision.
Okay, but what about the investigation into the poisoning of the Russian opposition leader? Germany says it has given transcripts of interviews with Navalny to Russia, demanding a thorough investigation. In fact, the Justice Ministry of Germany says Russia has all the information required now to carry out a criminal investigation into Navalny's poisoning. What about that?
Well, Germany is obviously lying here because Navalny already gave hundreds of interviews to reporters in the West. His position is well known. I don't think Germany is giving Russia anything new by providing interviews that he gave to German investigators. He obviously told them the same things he told the journalists. What Russia wanted was the exact formula, the exact reasons why Germany or German chemists decided that Navalny was poisoned by a substance which, I quote the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, by a substance from the same line of substances as Novichok, not by Novichok itself, the infamous chemical agent, but by some chemical agent resembling it. But the German authorities, they don't give the formula, they don't give the the scientific information, they don't give the biological analysis.
They say that they've given out the blood and tissue samples as well.
Well, blood samples we already have, because when Navalny landed when the plane with him landed in Omsk, blood samples and other things were taken from him here in Russia, and there was no poison found in them. There was no chemical agent, not Novichok, nor anything else. So the Germans have not revealed, the reason why, the formula, why they think that Navalny was poisoned by some kind of a military-grade chemical weapon. As for the investigation in Russia, it continues, but let me remind you that Navalny's supporters, right after he left the hotel, they took all the things that he touched there. They took the water bottles, they took other substances, and they brought them all to Germany on the same plane with him. And if indeed Novichok had been used, all the people on that plane would have been poisoned, because Novichok is a really deadly substance. Even a small amount can kill a person touching it. And these people, they took the bottles and they took his clothes and they boarded it all on the same plane with him, and somehow no one was hurt on that plane. So this already doesn't fit the version of events that the German authorities have been presenting. And of course, the Germans have done it in a very unfriendly way. Before revealing their reasons and their formulas, they already accused Russia and the Russian president in particular. Well, they were just acting as they acted in previous situations, such as, saying that Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction, or that, millions of Kosovo Albanians were slaughtered by Serbs in Kosovo. These things proved to be untrue. And the same story with Navalny also smacks of being untrue.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.